YouTube, it's Mike, VO1OP, and welcome to another video of VO1OP's Ham Radio Adventures. I want to apologize first up that there's all kinds of clutter behind me. We're in the process of renovating our cottage, now house. We've had an addition built on, and it's just a shell at the moment. The electrical is not completed, so we haven't moved the furniture back into it yet. There's a washer and dryer and everything behind me. It's stacked up with chairs, my home theater equipment, that sort of thing. So I apologize for that. Hopefully this will get done soon. We're just about our wits' end here. I feel like a mole in his burrow. It's all tunnels. You know, we're tunneling around furniture and boxes, and we could be living out of boxes for the next 3 to 4 months probably, because it was enough to move it all out, let alone setting it all up. Priority will be the name of the game. Get a home theater back, and a TV and a couch and armchair out in the new living room, and that'll probably be the extent of it. Oh, and a dining room table. I do miss my dining room table and my drum kit. So there you go. Today's video, I'm going to do a comparison between my Mosley Classic 33 Tri-Bander, which is up 35 feet, and I'm going to compare that to my fan Dipole, which is at 30 feet on the 20 meter band. So I have a fan that covers 80, 40, pretty much everything up to 10 meters. But it does struggle a little bit on 30. It's a fan with 2 dipoles, one mainly for 80 on top and one for 40 below. But it will cover all bands and do it quite nicely. We managed to work Bouvet Island on 17 meters FT8 with it over the winter. So it works really, really well. Fantastic on 40 where it's a quarter wave or just about off of the ground. So I'll be comparing that with my Mosley Classic 33 on 20 meters. The antenna, the Mosley, was put up last year. I did have videos done already under my previous call sign AX, and I, being new to the content creating universe, I didn't think I could just rename my channel and carry on, but so I killed it. The whole works. But yeah, well, that's the thing with content creation. I'm glad I did, because I wiped everything out and everything's new again. Working DX, the whole 9 yards, it's all good, because they want to talk to you now when you run a pile up. They're not coming back and saying, well, it's that AX guy, I'm sick of working him, I got him on all bands. So you know, unless you tune around and speak to people directly that you know, but it's great that guys that you know are coming back to you because it's a new call sign. So I'm going to compare those two antennas. And on the Mosley, if I was to write a eHam review, which I don't, I'm not an eHam registered users, I would just simply call it a sleeping pill at night. We've had some pretty good nasty weather over the winter. And I'm pleased to say that the traps didn't budge at all. The settings are as they were when we put the antenna up last year. It's getting close, actually. The 18th of June will be the 1 year anniversary. So that means I've got the beam a year now in my possession. I think it arrived the first week in June last year. So happy anniversary to my Mosley. Anyway, yeah, so the traps didn't budge an inch. I got 2 to 1 at each band edge, and 1 to 1 in the middle, or 1.0 to 1, however you're supposed to read the SWR reading. You know, so that's perfect. I get an honest 8 dB forward gain. And maybe the numbers are wrong off the back. I call it 25 dB, but maybe I'm doing the calculations wrong. But if you got an antenna that's 10 to 30 dB off the front, and it drops to S4 to S6 off the back, That's pretty good rejection, however you want to call it. If you want to call it apples, if you want to call it oranges, if you want to call it some sort of alien hybrid fruit that doesn't exist yet. Real world numbers. You know, so I think you're supposed to go in reverse 3 dB, but you go forward by 6 dB. I'm not sure why that is, but anyway. 5.4 to 6 off the back, 10 to 30 off the front. So that's tremendous rejection. And it's very rugged. It can handle 80 miles an hour wind gusts up to 3 times its weight in ice. So, you know, okay, you sacrificed 17 and 12, and maybe 6 meters. And, but I don't normally go on those bands anyway. I've got another little Yagi that I had that came down last year before I bought the Mosley. It just needs one of the aluminum tubing sections replaced. It probably wouldn't cost that much to get one shipped out from the manufacturer. And there's an upgrade kit for that to make that for the work bands, because it covers 20, 15, 10, and 6. And I can add a kit to make it work on the work bands, 17 and 12. It's an MQ34SR by TGM Communications. Nice little Yagi, very narrow off the back, but I typically got 10 dB front to back with that, and maybe 4 dB gain, forward gain. So a nice little Yagi for a compact space. The hex beam is probably a little better, but unless you buy a VHQ hex beam out of New Hampshire, no other hex beam is surviving up here in Newfoundland. It's just that simple. So you know. So maybe the MQ34SR would be a good all-around solution. Well, actually, it would be a 36 in this case if you had 17 and 12. So that's probably what I'm going to do for 17, 12, and 6 meters. If I get the bug, I'll probably put that puppy up on a 25-foot hand rotatable mast or something for the amount of times I'm on those bands anyway. I'm also putting up an end fed hopefully this weekend, which will cover 160 to 10. So that works really well on 17 and 12 because I knew the owner who built it before he went silent key over the winter, and it was everyday use antenna. And he never messed around with Yagis much. He generally used this wire from 160 to 10 meters, and I think he even loaded that up for 6 on occasion. So I'm hoping to put that up this weekend. All right, so how I'm going to accomplish these videos, I'm going to do 2. So I'll shoot one with the webcam and just do my blurb like I'm doing now. And then I will take my Android smartphone and point it at the gear so that you can see the meters. You can see the monitor when I'm doing an FT8 video. You can see my amplifier when it comes back from being serviced when I do an amplifier video. And my wife will use my MacBook Pro and iMovie to merge the 2 clips. And that's how I'm going to do it. So yeah, all right. So on to the Mosley Classic 33 and fan dipole comparison.